everyone. Long time no see. Hi. Say hi to Nibbler. So, low budget quarantine yoga has turned into slightly higher budget quarantine yoga, as in I invested in a GoPro. So, this is the first video on that. I know I haven't posted anything in a while, but that's because the world tried to get back to normal. Hi, baby. But now it's not, still. Anyways, so this is for people that don't feel comfortable yet coming back to my classes at Breezeway Yoga Studio, or those of you who just stumble upon it, friends, whatever. Um, Donations are welcome via Venmo. If that's not available, don't worry about it. It's a gift then for you, and hopefully this will bring you some stillness, some zen, maybe even clarity in this time of turbulence and uncertainty. So I'm happy to be sharing this with you. Hopefully I'm in the shot. I can't really see where my head is, so hopefully it works out. Okay, and this will be a yin practice. If you want to have props, you can have a blanket or some blocks or a book. I'm going to be using Meditation Timer on my phone. It's a wonderful app to have a timer to meditate with. Ouch. Okay, so we'll begin in child's pose. We're going to take a wide knee variation, so we'll have big toes to touch, knees out wide. Give yourself a little sway side to side to find length in the spine. And allow the head to come to the mat. If it doesn't find the mat comfortably, maybe you take it to a block. Let the forearms come all the way down to the mat. Let them relax, unless you're petting a little kitty. And you invite yourself into stillness. And if the knees are a little uncomfortable here, you can always take a couple of hand towels rolled up and slide them behind the knee joints. Or a big blanket. And take a few moments to give yourself a nice check-in. Notice how you're feeling this moment on your mat, or your carpet, or your bed. Observe the dialogue in the mind. What stories are you telling yourself today? You notice what it's like to be still in this moment. What is it like to be here now? And very slowly, you'll begin to come up out of the pose. Now, baby. Into a tabletop shape. So in tabletop, have the wrists under the shoulders, knees under the hips. And for a moment, imagine you're biting a block with your thighs in between your legs. So you're hugging the legs towards one another, but they're not actually going anywhere because the knees are rooted into the mat. So we're engaging our inner thigh muscles that have been stretched for a good hot minute in child's pose. And we'll relax the tension in the legs. Begin taking a few rounds of cat-cow. So you'll inhale into cow pose and exhale into cat. Few rounds. Let's take about 3 more full rounds of breath. And after your third exhale into cat, take your time to get there. You'll inhale into a neutral spine, tuck the toes, and let's take the hips up and back for a loose downward facing dog. So in this down dog, instead of worrying about alignment, move intuitively here. So you can paddle the feet, bend, straighten opposite leg, shake out the hips, the head. Whatever feels nice to you here. You're not bound to a down dog shape. You can always come forward, backwards, lift the leg, roll over. Take a few moments to just play intuitively. few more moments. And eventually you'll work your way into a still down dog. Armpits hug into the ribs, head relaxed. Grip the finger pads into the floor. And let's inhale high on the tippy toes, and as you exhale, knees come all the way back down. Keep the toes tucked. Perhaps you slide the knees a little closer together, and do a little knee walk where you take your knees closer to your toes, and we're coming into a toe stretch. We won't be here quite as long. And this is for selfish reasons because I just ran, so it'll be nice on my feet. But there's a yogi saying, those with open feet have an open mind. So yeah, do what you wish with that information. So you can keep your hands on the floor, or you can slowly begin to walk the hands closer to the knees as you shift the weight onto the hips. And eventually we work our way to kneeling. And if you're not here today, not a big deal. This will get intense rather quickly, so be sure to take your time with it. Sorry, I got a mosquito bite on my arm and it's driving me crazy. There's a term in yoga called pratyahara, and it's withdraw from the senses. So if I practice good pratyahara, I can withdraw from the sense of this itch. But maybe I'm not that good yet. So, alright. We'll close the eyes down if you're in a nice kneeling position. Remember, you can take your time working back there, or you can keep your hands on the floor. In this pose, if it's quite uncomfortable, notice how your breath responds to that discomfort. Can you keep it long, fluid, soft? A few more breaths. And if your hands are off the floor, we'll take them back to the mat. We're going to take our time to bring the body forward into tabletop pose. We get it, you're a train, am I right? Untuck the toes, flatten the tops of the feet, give them a pat. And a nice wiggle in the heels, side to side. Alright, very nice. So next pose we're going to do is heart melter or playful puppy. It's different than child's pose because child's pose the hips goes towards the heels. Here we're keeping the hips over the knees. So bum up, begin to walk the hands forward, keep them wider than the shoulders. And just like the name suggests, let your heart melt to the floor. So some people, we keep the forehead down onto the mat. Some people may feel very open to where they can actually bring the chest to the floor and the chin down, gazing forward. Now, if that's too much, don't go there just yet. And I really like the variation of actually bringing the palms together, elbows nice and tucked, and then bending at the elbows as if I'm trying to bring the thumbs to the back of my neck. And that adds a really nice stretch into the triceps. And so here we're trying to let the spine hammock, let the heart melt, spill that love all over your mat. Take your time. Come out of the pose. Back to tabletop shape. We'll tuck the toes, hips up and back, down dog. Notice how down dog may feel now after doing heart melter. And let's take the right leg up into the air. We'll stack the hips, bend the knee, big down dog split. Try to not collapse in the left shoulder. Think about rooting right armpit down into the mat. We'll come up high on the left tippy toes. Big breath in. And as you exhale, slow motion, slide right knee towards right wrist. We're going to come into pigeon pose. Right knee is to the right edge of the mat. Keep it outside of the hip, not in front of. You're going to cheat yourself out of the stretch if you do so. Use your left foot to walk the leg back as far as it goes. Pull the right toes back if you feel any weirdness in the right knee. And we're going to stay in the back bend for a part of the pose. It's always tempting to fall forward immediately. But here, think about walking the hands back so the heart lifts, again focusing on the back bending element. You'll feel it more in the back leg, in the hip flexor. So see if you can guide your breath into the heart space, finding length in the spine versus compression in the low back. Fight the temptation to fold. You can even bring your hands onto the front leg. We'll stay here for one more deep breath in. And as you exhale, sway your way into sleeping swan. So you can place your head on a block or a book or cozy up with a pillow. Soften here. Alright, we'll begin to lift the body up. Pause at the top. Alright, and I like to use my left foot to get me out of the pose, so I'll tuck the foot and begin to scooch my hips forward using the back leg. I'll tuck the back toes again, lift the hips, and slide right knee up into the air, out of the shape, move the leg around in any intuitive unwinding pattern. And we'll come back to a full down dog. Pause for a moment. Notice how the right side feels compared to the left. What observations can you make? And we'll come to the other side. Left leg's going to go up into the air. Stack the hips. Bend the knee. Inhale high on the right tippy toes. And as you exhale, slow motion slide left knee towards the left wrist. Right foot walks it back. I'm off the mat here, that's okay. Left toes are drawing back. Left knee to the left edge of the mat. Remember, we're going to pause in the back bend first. So you'll begin to walk the hands towards the body. And your hands might be here. This might be your back bend today. That's okay. Again, you take your sweet time to find where you need to go. Still using your breath as an assist to find length in the back. Stay for one more deep breath in. And let's exhale down, sleeping swan. Alright, we'll make our way up. And like I did before, I'll tuck my right toes this time and use my foot to scooch my hips forward out of the stretch. Eventually enough to where I can lift the leg up and back and move it around and down dog. Come to a full down dog when you're ready. And I'll slowly walk the hands and feet together to meet for a standing forward fold. Soften the knees here as much as you wish. And there's no need to straighten your legs, locking them out. That'll be a bit much on the joints of the knees and tendons, even the hamstring tendons as well. So perhaps you think of a micro bend, or if the hamstrings are really tight, you can bend them quite a lot. There's a nice variation where you hold on to opposite elbows and place the elbows on the knees as well if you feel knee low back pain. See how that does for you. Got a few more breaths here. If that feels right, you can take a different arm variation, kind of play around a little bit. And slow motion, begin to walk yourself into a plank pose. Now take the knees down, untuck the toes, onto your belly you go. Alright, a nice counter pose for a forward fold. We'll do a gentle back bend. Take a sip of coffee first if you have it. Alright, so Sphinx pose. Elbows under the shoulders, or maybe slightly forward bend. Forearms parallel. And imagine you're pressing down into the forearms to lift up, but also you're dragging yourself forward a bit here. So kind of like heart melter, you let the spine hammock. Make sure the feet are all the way towards the back of your mat. Feel some space in the hips. If you feel any discomfort in your low back, think about rooting your tailbone, pubic bone into the mat. For the last bit of this pose, you're welcome to stay here in Sphinx, or you can take the arms out 45-ish degrees, press into the palms to lift the elbows up to come into seal pose. And in seal, you can begin to walk the hands back any amount to deepen the back bend. If this doesn't feel right in your back today, go back to Sphinx. Stay for one more big inhale. And as you exhale, you'll come on to your belly. Stack the hands, rest the forehead on the hands. Be still. We'll bend the knees, take the feet into the air, windshield wiper the knees side to side.
And come back to stillness, feet down, adjust the legs so they feel right. Let's take the palms underneath the shoulders, deep breath in. Hold the breath as you press to tabletop, exhale at the top. And we'll come back to child's pose. Option to take embryo pose, knees together, or wide knee child's pose. Regardless, you'll come into the shape. Allow yourself to relax into it. And we'll press the body up. Either cross the ankles or sweep the legs around. You'll come onto your back. And once you're on your back, hug your knees into your chest, gentle rock side to side. Feel a nice massage on the low back. And we'll curl up, find the feet, open the soles of the feet towards the sky, happy baby pose. And in happy baby, you can be still or rock, move around like a happy baby would. Try to let the shoulders mount to the floor. And we'll bring the neck. We'll bring the knees together. Deep breath in. And as you exhale, curl forehead to knees. Head and shoulders down, arms over the head, lengthen the legs long, give yourself a full body stretch, squeeze all your muscles to your bones. And release. So I invite you to come into Shavasana, and I like to do Shavasana actually with my arms over my head. It's kind of a yin style. You're welcome to stay here, or you can bring your arms by your sides, tuck the shoulders underneath you, whatever feels better for you. Close down the eyes and allow the feet to relax, open to the sides. Comb through your body a handful of times. Notice where you can let go of. And let's take a deep breath in with a big sigh out. Let's do that again. Full breath in. Let it go. One more time. Inhale. And release. Alright, so this is where I'm going to leave you. Stay here as long as you wish. Happy day.